A large portion of the Jewish nation has returned to its homeland, but the heart, soul, and mind of much of the Jewish nation are still in exile mode. This state of affairs must and will inevitably change. This is Torah Nation TV from Jerusalem, and we are speaking with the head of Machon Shilo, Rabbi David Bar-Hayim. Shalom, Rabbi Bar-Hayim.
Shalom.
A viewer wrote to us with the following question. The minhag of refraining from eating meat during the 9 days is problematic for us. My husband is extremely allergic to fish, and we believe that soy products such as TVP are not really healthy, so that our menu becomes boring and monotonous. Can the rabbi provide us with any guidance?
The first thing to mention in this regard, and this is probably going to be a surprise for many, is that according to the Mishnah and the Talmud, one may eat meat of all kinds, right up to, but not including, the Suda Mafseket, the last meal before the fast of Tisha B'Av. In other words, Hazal did not express any prohibition regarding the eating of meat, except for that last meal before the fast of Tisha B'Av. The Mishnah states at the end of Masechet Ta'aniyot as follows: during that Suda Mafseket, lo yochal basar or lo yishte yain. That is referring to the last meal before Tisha B'Av, and there it says one is not to eat meat. Another thing that needs to be understood is that the term meat or basar, when used by Hazal, such as in this Mishnah, without any other qualification, refers to basar behema, that is to say, to beef, veal, mutton, goat meat perhaps, or the meat of an animal like a deer or something of that nature. That is basar, whereas poultry, chicken, turkey, duck, what have you, is referred to as basar of, or just ofoth, and not referred to as basar. This we also see in the Sugya in Masechet Hulin, Daf Kuf Daled Kuf Hey, speaking about eating meat after milk or vice versa. There also a clear distinction is made between the term basar, which refers to beef and lamb, etc., and of, which refers to poultry. So even according to that Mishnah, which speaks of the Suda Mafseket, the meal just before the fast, even during that meal one may eat chicken and other types of poultry, and the only restriction is with regards to basar behema, meat, veal, mutton, lamb, goat meat, etc. Therefore, all the practices, all the minhagim of refraining from eating meat, and all kinds of meat, including poultry, from Rosh Chodesh are entirely post-Talmudic, and these minhagim therefore carry much less weight, of course, than anything mentioned in the Talmud. The rationale behind not eating meat for 9 days, meat of any kind for 9 days, is based on what the Mishnah states in that same chapter, the end of Masechet Ta'aniyot, Mishenichnas Av Mema'atim Besimha, that from the beginning of the month of Av we diminish all activities, we reduce all such activities which are calculated to produce joy, happiness, gladness, etc. And seeing that the well-known statement of the Chachamim in Masechet Pesachim, En simcha ela bevasar v'yain, that there is no real rejoicing or festivity without meat and wine, and meat there also refers to beef and the like. Here too we see that the connection between meat and simcha and rejoicing is specifically with regards to beef and lamb and the like, and not poultry. And therefore one could even ask whether the original minhag of not consuming meat from Rosh Chodesh was really intended to include poultry, for example. This is not entirely clear. It is clear that most people refrain from eating all kinds of meat nowadays. But the purpose of this minhag was not to cause hardship or difficulty but rather to avoid a situation which would increase one's joy and be a kind of festivity or some kind of celebration. And therefore, all people, as we know nowadays, eat fish, for example, during the 9 days, and some people even go out, which is a little bit irrational, go out specifically, especially to milchik restaurants during the 9 days to eat fancy milchik meals. This was not the intention, one feels, with regards to this minhag. The intention was to avoid celebration, festivity, and expressions of joy. And fish, for most people, does not represent a very joyous or out of the ordinary experience. For people who cannot eat fish and who find that their menu is very restricted during these days, it seems to me that it is correct to return to the essential intention of this minhag, which was to reduce simcha, nichnas av mema'atim besimcha, and seeing that simcha is particularly connected to basar behema, such as beef and mutton and the like, and not to poultry. It is sufficient for such people to refrain from eating those kinds of meats, but as for things like poultry, they may eat from Rosh Chodesh and even during the week of Tisha B'Av. I would recommend, however, that during the Suda Mafseket, no form of meat, including poultry, be eaten, even though, as we've explained, according to the din of the Mishnah and the Talmud, even this would be mutar.
Thank you, Rabbi Bar-Hayim. We would like to encourage our viewers to share these videos with friends and send in your responses. We would also like to suggest the following opportunity to our viewers. If you identify with Rabbi Bar-Hayim's message and would like to sponsor or dedicate a video interview with the Rabbi in honor or memory of a loved one, if you would like to obtain Birko Nusach Eretz Yisrael or invite the Rabbi for a speaking engagement, please email us at office@machonshilo.org.